this is the only thing, especially my generation, man. It's all people know.
It's hard. Like, that's what I'm saying.
It's just like, man, I gotta detach myself sometimes. So.
There's truth, and there's also like just a lot of misunderstanding in it, and then it turns it into this thing that we know as hustle culture.
A lot of the things that work in personal dating also works in the professional realm. Being attentive, being empathetic, active listening, making sure that people know that they were heard. Welcome to the Content Parlor. I'm your host, Chardell. We've got a panel today, and we are talking about mental health during our mental health series. This is Mental Health Month, isn't it? Mental Health Awareness, or was it last month? Last month. So we're right in the season of mental health. Well, we want to make a whole series of this, so we've got a lot to cover. Today we're going to be talking about relationships. We've got a special guest, a very tall special guest here today, and we're going to get into it. I'll let him introduce himself in a second. But before we do that, just want to do some quick housekeeping. Just want to remind you that the Content Parlor is a conversation place for creatives, business owners, and just innovative entrepreneurial thinking minds. We do this podcast free of charge for you, the public, to, number one, have this place to talk about these things, but also show you how you can use this studio, which is available for rent. If you want to rent this studio, it's stablегray.com/studio. You can follow us on social media. We're at all the social media handles at Content Parlor. We'll put that below. And we want to do a special announcement today. About a week and a half ago, we announced that we were going to be giving away a painting by one of the iconic artists of Omaha. You may have seen the post that we put out there from Eduardo Gardea on the painting. He's working out of the hot shops. And we just want to announce the winner today. The winner, congratulations to, let me make sure I say this right, Marie Foster. Marie Foster, congratulations. You have won the painting. We told you we would give it away. Boom, we just did it. So we'll be posting a picture of delivering that to her in the coming weeks. Get excited because we got more giveaways to come. All right, so with the housekeeping out of the way, one last thing. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. We're dropping the full episodes on YouTube. So you get the hot takes on social media, but that doesn't give you the whole story. So make sure you follow us and hit that bell notification so that you can get the latest and greatest full episodes. Appreciate you guys. Let's go around the room. Let's do introductions. Y'all know who I am. I'm the host, Chardell, co-founder, Stable Gray, nerd, typically wearing glasses. Sometimes I wear contacts. I'm on a coastal vibe. That's why I got my little chest out. That's me. Who's over here to my right, your left, or your... Yeah, my left, your right.
Yeah, Teddy Young, y'all know who I am, one of the co-founders of Stable Gray. Excited to be here, especially for this mental health series. My wife's a mental health therapist, so, I think it's a great topic. Yeah, I have a lot of insights and use a lot of techniques and strategies in everyday life, but I've used it personally though as well in my life, and I think it was monumental in getting me where I'm at today. So
good.
Yep.
Good. Glad you're on the show. We've got someone else here.
Yeah.
What's your name? Tell us who you are, what your practice, and just a little bit about yourself, like how to follow you on social media or something.
Right. Yeah. So my name's Payton Hogan. I'm a mental health therapist. I've been a fully licensed therapist since 2019, 2020, somewhere around there. Pandemic happened. Mm-hmm. Kind of lost track of time. But I've been in the mental health field for over 10 years now. I own Bear Company Counseling, which is a group practice. Currently have 4 therapists there, a total of 10 employees, and we're planning to expand here this coming summer, going into fall, looking for 3 other therapists. So just a little plug out there.
Put it
for
out
y'all.
there,
Little
man.
plug.
Yeah.
If you looking to get into the mental health space, you about to be licensed or you already licensed, and you looking for a good environment, young work culture where I go to work like this, got my chain on,
clean.
chest out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like I can't do the but I did the button up. It's cool, but I was just hot, sweaty, uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like if you want to come to work, feel chill, in a good environment. Type in www.bearcompanycounseling.com and we can make some things shake. Also, we got our post on Indeed. It should be live now. Also, I got some social media handles too. If you want to get in contact with me, facebook.com/Payton Hogan, I'm pretty sure. Instagram, same thing. Just if you go on Google, type in Payton Hogan, you'll find me. You'll find all of it there. Got YouTube as well. Haven't been as active on YouTube, but I got some things in the work. Just recorded a video yesterday that we should be going live with here soon. So, yeah, that's me.
Appreciate it, man. So, yeah, congratulations on the growth. You know, we know mental health therapy is needed, so appreciate that practice, having the courage to put that together.
Most definitely.
And I've seen Bear, is it counseling?
Bear Company.
Bear Company.
Counseling.
I've seen it pop up in my feed, and I wasn't quite sure who it was, but it looked good. So now I'm gonna go back and follow it. So you already got one right
There
here.
we go. There we
you
go.
So let's go this direction. We got some biceps. We got got some waves. Who is this sitting over here?
What's up, everybody? My name is Avion Barnes. Where do I start? With the Stable Grade team the last 3 months, managing the studio, editing videos, shooting videos, taking pictures. So it's been cool. Starting to get into life coaching. Got something in the works with that. Got an app coming, so be cool. Little fitness, little mental health stuff. A lot of stuff that I'm pretty sure I'll talk about today. But yeah, short and sweet. I'll keep it like that. Yeah. Oh, you can find me on social media everywhere at Avion Barnes.
Okay.
Yeah. Consistent
All right.
social media handle.
I know what that look is for. That's a little off-camera look.
gotta have consistent social handles everywhere. So,
All right.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate all you fellas joining the topic today. This topic is a series, so it's not just a strictly men, but I love that we're talking about this from a male perspective, because we don't have these conversations enough in our community. So let's jump right in. Main topic today is just relationships. I want to start here with Payton, just because you're the expert at the table today. This is what you do. So just want to get a better understanding about what you're seeing in the practice in terms of relationships and people developing healthy relationships. Maybe just 2 or 3 pillars that people can use to cultivate better relationships in the workplace and in their personal life.
Well, I think one thing that I've really been seeing when it comes to relationships, and we were kind of talking about it off camera a little bit, is just like these unrealistic expectations of relationships. Whether they be charged by social media, charged by like what they see on TV or what they see on shows, what celebrities are doing. And that's all over the place, from work to intimate relationships to even friendships. Like, all of these different relationships become very transactional. And so I think something that I'm noticing even with younger populations is like this idea and this expectation that is just completely unrealistic and not something that can be like sustained over long periods of time. And I think like you look out there at young people right now, like if we're talking about intimate relationships, how many of their relationships actually last, or how many people are getting married and then a year, 2 years later ending up in divorce because it's not built on like solid foundations, or even just like with work. And I'm kind of on the on the line with this one, like with work, how most people are not able to like stay in a position long term anymore. Like you look back 20 years and people were making careers out of their jobs, but I feel like there's also other components that are added into that. Like it's easier to go from one job to the next and climb the ladder, but even so, just the psychology behind it, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of unrealistic expectations that we're seeing in relationships now. And I think it all stems back to just understanding of self and who we are and like what a purpose is, you know, like what your purpose is in life and how you're able to gravitate towards certain relationships. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. You kind of gave a little foreshadow to our hot take, so we'll try to hold back a little bit on that. But really good opener there, just to focus in on the work-life balance piece when we talk about doing business or building a career. I think so much is driven by social media and what is put out there, not even from a relationship standpoint, just from expectation standpoint in general. Social media is not reality. I just think about when I post about my trips. Sometimes I post, sometimes I don't. I don't post every trip I go on. I just got back from Chicago. I haven't posted about it. But when I post, a lot of times people ask me, "Oh, I saw you were in XYZ last week." I don't post generally when I'm on a trip because I like to enjoy my trip. I don't want to be inundated with having to post on a schedule and tell people what I'm doing play by play. So I collect my photos, I collect my stuff, but when I'm typically posting, I'm already back. You know, and that's just one thing that I've noticed with people that's really interesting is they think that when you post, that's what's happening in that moment. And it just lends itself to the thing that you said about unrealistic expectations. I think we put too much investment into what we see and hear on social media as real, and people aren't intentionally like posting fake news. So yeah, I just want to see what other people think of the role that social media is playing in our expectations.
Yeah, it makes me think back to when I realized like the impact it made on me, like as far as like back almost like 10 years ago when people started to really like post like what they're doing. Remember, you didn't know what people were doing all the time.
Yeah.
And so it's what they call it FOMO. So then you're chilling at home, you cool with what you're doing. But then you see somebody post that they're doing this and doing that and doing that and doing that. And then you're like, dang, I need to be doing something. Why am I doing something? You know? Like, that's when I first realized, like, the impact of social media. You know what I'm saying? That after you start doing this comparison thing, or it's like, oh, I should be going out somewhere. I should be doing this because everybody's doing something. Everybody look like they're having fun. This is the way you have fun, you know, and stuff like that. So, and then we were talking about it early, just about like the meme content and stuff like that. Like, you know, people are literally just, I mean, getting your advice. You know what I'm saying? From memes. Some people, they're not professionals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah, people just like taking that information, taking it for truth and applying it, and you know, and that impacts their relationships, you know, because of that expectation. You know, you see somebody else in a relationship posting this or that, and it's like, oh, well, this is not happening in mine, so this must be bad or something must be wrong here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's good. What are your thoughts on that? It looked like you were going to jump in.
No, I'll just add on to it. I think that, yeah, I'll just add on. I think it's good to see everything go on, but I think it's good to also have a different mind frame on that. For example, like instead of like comparing, use it for inspiration. Instead of, let's say, like having the feeling of like jealousy, like use it to like maybe I could reach out to this person and create a connection off of it, right? So like changing the angle you, well, I guess. Ooh, no, I'm not gonna say that. I guess, yeah, changing the perspective you go about social media will help you in your angle on like how you should use social media. That's the best way I can put that.
I think you make a real good point. Like when we look at social media in its entirety, in its lifespan, right? Like we go way back to like MySpace. Back in, what was that, 2005, 2006, and then you got like Black Planet. Y'all remember Black Planet? Or
I'm too young for that.
Black Planet was the thing.
That's way back in the day. Like at those times, like social interaction was still like a big thing, and so these social media pages, they were used as outlets to connect with people outside of the time that you actually spent with them in person, because we still placed emphasis on value on face-to-face interaction.
Yeah.
But like as they started to develop and as they started to grow, right, starting with Facebook, because MySpace got wiped out the way. I think it's still there.
Yeah,
I think it's still there.
Changed it into something totally different.
Yeah.
Then what you call purchase that? Was Beyonce's sister?
It was one of the
Did
originally
she
it was
buy
one
it?
of the publishing companies, wasn't it? It was like BMI or
It was Black Planet, I think.
somebody purchased. It was purchased, and now it's
remember
like
that
a
one?
music app.
Yeah. I seen that. Yeah, now it's just music, but like
Black Planet is.
no. MySpace.
Yeah, I remember that one though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I was on there.
I forgot about it until like just right now. I was
Yeah.
like,
But like these things, right? Like they started to develop more and more into like how can we keep you on here more?
Yeah.
And so people who still had like the know of interpersonal interactions, right? Like I'm here talking to you. People who had that, this was just a tool to enhance that. Like when I'm not around, I can use this. But we're looking at the younger generations that were coming up as these things were being developed. That form of interaction is all they know. Like, and there were other apps that were being tailored to kind of, I don't want to say groom, but almost groom them to learn like social media interaction is a part of your day-to-day life. And if you don't have that, like, then who are you? So you see a lot of people finding value for themselves in social media interactions. Like you see people who are developing mental health disorders based on the lack or surplus of interactions that they have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like a lot of people are basing their experience of life on their experience on social media, which is, I think it's real. It's real.
So to your point, like, so then it, so part of it is like, since it is like such a big part of our life, there is, maybe some practical ways or tips or things like that how people should engage with it, because it can be a really good thing too if you have the right perspective when engaging with social media. It's just you gotta really understand like what it is.
Yeah, and I think there was a pivot that I made on my social media with starting to use it as a marketing tool first, as opposed to using it as a way to interact with people socially. And I think part of that pivot in my personal was realizing that I can use social media to manage the story that I want to tell about myself to the public, right? Because in the past, if you weren't on the news and you weren't in publication, people didn't know who you were unless they were involved in your personal life, right? And now we have this ability to tell the public who we are without a press release. And that became my modus operandi, per se, for social media is, okay, I'm in branding and marketing. I'm a web developer, run a branding agency with Teddy. And then how do I want the public to see me as an individual? And that's evolved over time, right? I wasn't good at it. I didn't go to school for that. But over time, I've learned to take that approach. And that approach, if you can't tell, is not driven by likes. It's not driven by validation. It's just driven by the message that I want people to know about me. If you like it, cool. If you don't like it, that's all right. And then I saw a meme. I saw a meme recently that talked about putting in perspective the amount of people we're actually reaching. And in the post, the gal showed, this is what a crowd of 20 people looks like. This is what 100 looks like. This is what an audience of 1,000 looks like. Here's what 50,000 looks like.
Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah.
Post your content. If 200 people see it, imagine being in a nightclub and 200 people are watching you
Yeah.
perform.
Or speaking in front of 200 people.
That's most
You'd be
people would have
nervous,
stage fright.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're getting like 600 views and we're like mad because we see somebody
even
else
know
getting
more than-
150,000.
Yeah, I don't know that many people. I'm
Right.
like,
Ain't met that many people in my life.
yeah.
So, that helped me put things into perspective. And really, I just focus on impressions. Did you see it? All right, well, I did my job then, And if you choose to engage with it, that's cool. But if not, that's all right too, because you saw it. So, yeah.
That's dope. Only thing I would have to add is I have like a rule for myself, going back a little bit to what we were talking about previously, but use social media as an extension, not a replacement. So whatever you want to extend out to the world, whatever message you want to put out, use that as an extension to connect with people, to put out a positive image, not this is the only thing. Especially my generation, man, it's all people know.
It's
It's
hard.
like,
that's what I'm saying.
it's
That's
just
it.
like,
Man,
I
that
gotta
is
detach
wild.
myself sometimes. So yeah, extension, not replacement. That's what I would add onto that.
I think you just brought up a good point. Like you generation, which one? How old are you? How old are you?
21.
Oh, so that's not alpha. That's not.
Well, we know they're not alpha, you know what I'm saying? Because we the alpha ones. Nah, I just-
There's so many Z, A, B, C.
Gen Z. Yeah, Gen Z is like detaching from social media means detaching completely from a social content. That I think, like, going back to the point of like relationships and interactions and my mental health, like that means I lose who I am and what I know completely. And to tell somebody that, because like I work with kids, I work with a lot of kids in my practice, and so it's like, if I'm like, yo, just get off social media, that almost creates anxiety in an individual. It's like,
Wow.
what am I about to do then? Like, how am I about to know anything? Who am I going to talk to? Where am I going to go?
So
Like,
it's like, so then
Sheesh.
that the youth, are they more like they have more of their relationships is virtual and through like the
what?
platform versus like
Man,
in person? And,
man, take it. We're going to take it beyond just social media like we know it.
yeah,
Think
the
about
gaming and yeah,
Their
that's what I
friend-
was thinking. Like gaming is
friends
huge.
live in UK, friends live in Texas.
Oh, right.
These are my best friends. These are my best. These are my best friends, and they live over here.
Wow.
And so it's like detaching from social media means I literally lose
Yeah,
who I am and my identity, and so it's a hard position to be in.
Yeah.
I feel like for the younger individuals coming up to establish self-worth, self-identity, when they don't have that because of the way that things have been kind of groomed and created for them to find their identity through media.
Wow.
And so it's like a catch-22. Like, I think there's definitely benefits for social media and media in general.
yeah,
But there's also like the extreme sides of it, and I feel like we're in a place where we definitely see like a lot of the extreme sides, and things are moving towards that. But it can still be a benefit too if you know how to use it and you understand it. Kind of like what you both said, like using it as a marketing tool. Like I remember there was a point in time, just with social media in general, where you could scroll and you wouldn't see not one ad, and you would see all of your friends' posts on. Like you would be able to see all your friends' stuff, and
That was a good time.
And there would come a point where there was no more new posts, and it'd be like, "You're all done," and you'd be like, "Okay, close it, put it down."
Oh, right. Now it takes you to
Algorithm.
Yeah.
That algorithm is something different, and so like it's like social media. I don't know if I can say this.
You could probably say it.
Okay. Social media is not about social media anymore. Like it's not about. It's about marketing and what can I say. It's just like social media apps are just like big billboards, pretty much. It's a big billboard, and when people start to understand that, and you have to choose to understand that. Like when people understand that, then you're able to utilize social media differently. Then you can go in and you can say, all right, I'll go look at a couple of videos. I'm gonna put this down. Go back to my marketing, or like, what am I trying to create here? What am I trying to put out to the world here? Put it down, as opposed to this is an extension of my life, and me putting this down means I'm cutting off a whole piece of me.
Yeah. So what are some healthy ways to use it and engage with it?
I always say limits.
Okay.
I always say limits 1 to maybe 2 hours a day.
Yeah, okay. Because like in our household, sometimes you can get to just scrolling. I mean, primarily now I use it to learn. So that's how I use it. It can be very beneficial. I learn parenting things, things for marriage and marketing and different things like that. But try to have limits. Like, so when I get home from work, like when I get home from work till after, putting the kids to bed, having that space and that time, like that 2 to 3 hours where it's like not on the phone at all, trying to do things like that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the founder of Patreon put out a video, almost like a TED Talks about this topic, and he talked about like the shift of the internet. The internet 1.0 was just like static content. 2.0, we started to have like the MySpaces, the Black Planets, things like that. But it evolved very quickly in the 2010s. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Teens?
Are you right? 2010s. Yep.
2010s from like this Web 2.0 to this Web 3.0, which is built around these 3 pillars of reach, following, and true fans. And so the ability to subscribe to someone shifted the internet from being this static place to being a place where you can curate your own content, right? And we saw that evolve over time because we started with like RSS feeds and things like that. It's like, I remember when that was the thing. It's like, get the RSS feed. And that was essentially a newsletter, right? But now you get to go on there and you get to RSS feed video content through YouTube by subscribing, or by following them on social media. You get their content packed in your feed. So I think he talked about at the end how the internet is shifting to this true fans platform. And that's what it seems like a lot of people are struggling with, is like building a following that is their true fans and not just people snooping on them, right? And snooping is not necessarily a malicious thing, but not engaging with them, not interacting with them. And so we're all looking for our tribe, right? We're all looking for our group of people. So I think, just to kind of unpack that a little bit, I think the future of the internet, we should be aware of where the internet is headed, and we should understand that the algorithms are being developed in that direction. And that doesn't mean that our content isn't cool. It doesn't mean that we're not, that we're not putting out meaningful things just because it doesn't fit the algorithm that's being developed. So on that note, the subtopic I think we could hit on super duper quick is just about handling rejection. And Payton, you kind of already touched on it a little bit, of people just having their whole like self-worth wrapped up in social media. What are some healthy ways for people to navigate rejection, right? In our business, we didn't get here by getting all yeses every time that we sent out a proposal or put our.
Emails.
We've had plenty of clients say that our work isn't good enough. So what are some healthy ways for people to navigate rejection and continue to have that self-worth?
Yeah, I think the biggest way that you can kind of, I'll say, overcome rejection is by understanding that it's not personal and it has nothing to do with who you are as an individual most of the time. Sometimes it might, and that's where you got to really look in the mirror and say, like, is my character, do I have a healthy character? But a lot of the times, like, we're just not people's cup of tea. Like, some people like pears, some people like apples, and just because I don't like pears doesn't mean like apples are any worse. It's just that has nothing to do with an individual as a person. But a lot of times people will take rejection personally, and that's where we see people going into depressive states and they're like, oh, nobody likes me, or like I can't get anything right, which are classified as cognitive distortions because pretty much what a cognitive distortion is a trauma response or a trauma thought that happens, and it's based on a traumatic experience. And we, at times, can utilize them to make sense of many different situations that we have in life. And when we do that, it can be very unhealthy. It can be very, very unhealthy because we're guiding our life based on trauma experiences as opposed to reality. And so, like you said, like, not everybody's gonna like my content, and that's okay. It's about finding your tribe and finding your tribe of people. And sometimes people try to fit apples into the bunch of pears when it's like, if I'm an apple, let me go find some apples. Let me find people who I truly relate with. But in order to do that, I have to understand who I am as a person truly,
Right.
which is something that is lacking. Like, and again, with social media, like, we see individuals gravitating towards what looks cool, or what's this new trend, or what's this new thing, or this dance move. I can't dance, so nobody likes me. Nobody's gonna want to be around me, be here with me, or like, I don't have these skills to do this certain job. Oh, I'm gonna be broke for forever. Like, you just have to understand who you are as a person and really identify your purpose, because the moment that you find that and the moment that you're able to truly embody that, then you can start to move in the direction, and your rejections now make sense. It's like, I was rejected in all these different spaces because they did not align with who I was on a moral standpoint, on a value standpoint, on a purpose standpoint. I think it's as simple as that.
Dang, that's good. We got a little therapy session here, boy. Jeez.
Beautifully spoken.
I appreciate that, man. I might have to pull some cash out. Yeah, that's good. I think on multiple fronts, that's really good. It's good from a business standpoint. It's good from a personal career development standpoint, and I think it's good for individuals as well. Reactions. Any thoughts on that?
That was beautifully spoken, I'll say. Yeah, that was good. I think you hit it on the head when you said it's not personal. For me, I built a very healthy relationship with rejection, and that meaning that I use it as an indicator. Either I need to get better, and that is like, all right, well, let me look in the mirror, like you said, and check off the things. All right, what did I do wrong? What do I need to go do? Let's go execute on it. Or it's like, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And it's like, I don't want to repeat everything you said, but like, I definitely resonated with everything you said, because this is true. Like, I'm not everybody's kind of person, and that's okay. I could be here, you can be over there, and we can both do our thing, and that's that. But yeah, I just use rejection as an indicator, you know. I need a shift, I need a pivot, or I need to change what I'm doing, because something that I'm doing needs to change right now. So, yeah, that's what I had.
Would you say that's the same from a physical health standpoint as well? You talked about coaching and personal training and things like that. How do you get people mentally aligned to be able to perform?
So I view myself as like a doctor, right? If I'm a coach, I want to hear like what your problems are and what are your goals? And then from there, everything else is like kind of rolling with the punches. So if I like, so me as the doctor or coach will give like a prescription to you, and then from there, which will be like workouts or advice or whatever, and then from there, we'll see like what results you get. Mm-hmm. And then, so I guess to answer your question, it's more about like it's like trial and error kind of. Mm-hmm. For me. It's like, let's see what works and let's see what doesn't work. Mm. And if it does work, we'll keep doing more of the good stuff and add more good stuff or add more of the stuff we think is good. But if it's not good stuff, we need to take that out. Mm-hmm. And it could be like, and honestly, a lot of the time is less about like the physical aspect of things. It's really just mental. Mm. So like me, like I've worked with kids, I've worked with adults, and it's like, it's not much of a different, like, it's not much of a different, I'd say, like, solution. It's like, it's usually just all up here, and I just gotta, like, I have to be in a good mental space as well, which is why I'm so big on, like, mental health, because, like, I have to be, like, a problem solver for whoever I'm helping in that case. So, yeah, it's like a lot of trial and error, I think, is the big thing, but being able to understand somebody's problems and then trying different things, because everybody's different. One shoe doesn't fit all, you know, so.
Interesting. That's a very different approach, because certainly you deal with rejection in personal training, and everybody handles that differently. I know for me, I've gone through my cycles of like, I'm going to work out, I'm going to, do all these things, I'm going to do it. And then I fall off the ladder, but then how do you get back on, and keep riding that wave? So that's interesting. We'll have to talk more off camera about that.
Yeah, I mean, especially as men too, like we what I found out, becoming a man, I'm 21 now, about to be 22.
Okay,
but,
manhood.
Yeah, right. So like I'm very early on, so I feel like I can speak at least a little bit on this, but like we put so much pressure on ourselves, especially like what I've seen like in like gym culture and stuff. We put a lot of, even just everything, financially, just wanting to be a good, like, I guess boyfriend, husband. Like I just see like a trend of us putting a lot of pressure on ourselves. Mm-hmm. And like this, man, taking it slow, I think is like the best thing. Like we want to get things done and go super hard and just chop it down and be like, beat on our chest, macho. But like, yeah, man, it's taking it slow. And like, that's a new angle I've taken as well too. It's like day by day, brick by brick, the building will get built. Mm. Yep.
That's good. Good.
As far as rejection, I think about it as like just kind of like taking the fear out of it, because like rejection is something that that's going to happen. Like you said, it's like when we try to avoid it, that's can lead to, things that can lead to, some unhealthy situations. What's going on? Mosquito?
There's a mosquito that has detected our manhood and she's trying to chop it down. We can't let it happen. Sorry for that interruption.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't even focus. I was saying like taking the fear out of rejection, because it's going to happen. And yeah, I think another thing that you said was the self-awareness. That's key too, because it could be, that could be something you need to, looking at the situation and figuring out, why, asking that question and looking at it. And if you, understand, who you are, maybe you're trying to fit into a group that's really not your group. You just want to be in that group because you think you should be in it, mm-hmm. and you're changing yourself to fit in that, So if you understand yourself, who you are, what you actually like and enjoy, it's not really, rejection, is it? It's more of like misplacement.
Yeah, I love that. Using the rejection to help navigate, and then taking that rejection and using it as validation or confirmation of that you're on the right path instead of the opposite. Good stuff. So let's talk about hustle culture, because it ties right in with that, of chasing excellence, but not, like you said, trying to whack down a forest in an hour. Give yourself some time.
Yeah.
So Teddy, I know you had some specific things you had said about hustle culture when we were off camera.
Yeah.
Can you reshare that so the audience can hear it?
Yeah. So this was something that I asked AI. But it says hustle culture is a societal mindset that glorifies and values constant productivity, overworking, and always being busy. It often promotes the idea that success requires individuals to work long hours, sacrifice personal time, and prioritize work above all else, which can lead to like burnout, stress, and negatively impacting your mental health.
Yeah, that's good. So, I mean, what I'm hearing from that is work-life balance. So do you deal with those aspects of your clients and they're just like, they've just put themselves in an unhealthy state and that's the underlying cause of their need for therapy or things like that?
Yeah, I definitely have. I think it all goes back to just like that unrealistic expectation, right? Like, and I feel like it just kind of comes full circle. Like, the only reason people are hustling that hard is because they see somebody talking about, you gotta wake up at 4:30 in the morning, which I used to, so don't get on me for that.
I get up at 4:30.
Wake up at 4:30.
For other reasons.
Eat 17 raw eggs, go to the gym for 2 hours, come home, read 7 development books, work for 12 hours, stretch at the end of the day, go to sleep at 10 o'clock, do it all over again. Like they see that video and they're like, I gotta do this with my life.
Like that's
and I gotta
truth.
stick to this. I gotta stick to this schedule, which I think, truthfully, I believe there's truth, and there's also like just a lot of misleading, or let's not even say misleading, just misunderstanding in it, and then it turns it into this thing that we know as hustle culture. I was talking to a client the other day, and they were like, I'm anxious all the time. Like, I just feel super anxious. And I was telling them how I used to do yoga, and they were like, so if I do yoga, will that help me not to be anxious? And I was like, well, I'll put it like this, I think. If you had a car and you filled it up with gas and you just stepped on the gas pedal, as soon as you filled it up with gas and you just went down the street and you were just stepping on it, you'll go somewhere. But if you had a car, you filled it up with gas and you were like, I want to drive to Kansas City, I got enough gas in my gas tank to get me down there and get me back on this one tank. You'll get to Kansas City and you'll get back. It's about how you utilize the gas that you're putting in the tank. There's two components that go behind it. It's an intention, and there's a direction that you're moving in. You can apply that to anything. So if there's somebody who's adopting this hustle culture, right, but they have no intention and they have no true direction, then you're gonna reap all these negative benefits, right? You're gonna have broken relationships because you're doing all this stuff that does not promote having healthy relationships. You're probably gonna have physical wear on your body because you're creating unnecessary toxic stress. And toxic stress is stress that's just sitting there, that's not being utilized in a healthy way, right? We all experience stress. Stress is healthy. It's what makes us like move, react, do things. Like, I need to go eat. I might have a little bit of stress, cortisol release. I'm gonna go get me some food, or like there's some danger, cortisol release, boom. Like there's healthy stress, but if I'm just sitting here stressing all day, like, oh, I'm at work all day, I gotta wake up every day, oh, I'm so tired and I'm not getting enough, like now I have this toxic stress, bad, blood pressure rising, like all types of things. But if I have like a true intention and a true direction with these things that I'm doing, you might not experience those same things because I'm finding joy in this. You know what I mean? I'm creating a life around this. When a lot of times with hustle culture, people are not creating lives around this. They're actually destroying their life trying to live this thing because of an instant gratification.
Dang. Yeah, that's deep. Sheesh.
I'm just saying, man.
Yeah, work-life balance is, I would just say, because I'm not a therapist, I'm not a personal trainer, I don't have that. But what I could definitely say is my experience has been, the more I emphasize work-life balance, the better fulfilling everything that I do is, no matter what it is. It could be as simple as, going to get some ice cream. Just that drive in the car that I got through this certain pathway of life. And yeah, it sucks to get gas, but man, this is the car I've been wanting all this time. Or just as simple as stepping outside on the back porch and just having that sense of accomplishment that I could step outside at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because of the career that I built. To me, those things are way more fulfilling that I've found than having a heap of money in the bank. And sometimes I'm not even gonna lie, I've stepped out in the past and there ain't no money in the bank account and I'm happy, But I got at least $20 in there now, so don't judge me. But that hits home for sure. I could feel that.
I think another aspect that you just hit, like having all the money in the bank, and what a lot of people don't realize is like you can have all that money, but if you don't have people around you to enjoy it with, what does that money even matter?
Yeah.
It has no real value anymore. Money can enhance your experience, right? But it's not going to be the thing that creates the experience that you want. Well, money can create some experiences. I can't even say it. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. Money definitely can create some experiences, but it's not going to lead to continued happiness,
right?
Continued
exactly.
enjoyment,
Like
fulfillment in life.
Just forever happy.
Yeah. Because money comes and goes. Like what creates like long-standing fulfillment in life is the interactions that you make, the relationships that you have. Do they have meaning, right? Like I got 5 kids, I got a wife, and if all I did was grind every day, my wife probably gonna be looking for another man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, where am I at? I got things that like she has wants, she has needs, she has emotions. My kids probably gonna grow up hating me. You know what I mean? And we see that with a lot of rich people. Like,
kids just want your time.
They want your time.
That's it.
And so like, it's not. I personally do not believe that hustle culture in its extreme is worth it. At least how it's pushed. Mm-hmm. Do I believe that having discipline, having structure, having consistency, being able to develop the skill of drive when motivation is lacking, because a lot of people don't understand that motivation is an emotion. Mm-hmm. And like all emotions, they come and go. One second I can be feeling good, next second I can be feeling bad. And so having that drive to be able to push through things when I don't want to, that's big. But also being able to have that balance to take a step back and say, I need to spend time with family, or I need to pour into this one's cup outside of my job, and not finding my identity in my job. That's where that hustle culture comes from. My identity now is formed around money and making money, and that is super unhealthy.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's been a long time, man. It's like, I guess getting in a relationship, getting married, and then having kids have helped me in that area, because I've always been just go hard and just to get what I want, you know what I'm saying, and what I'm trying to achieve, like, working hard and doing extra. I can just work all the time, Mm-hmm. I can do it, and it's like it's nothing, but but then you have that choice, right? Okay, I got married. So I can't do that. So I have to make a choice. Am I going to put that above her, spending time with her? You know, you have a decision to make. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. So learn to prioritize and balance. And then kids come into the picture. And it's like, man, you want to be there for moments and be there for things, and you want to be present. I would say the biggest thing kids do is help you be present, you know, because that's all they care about is like right now. They ain't in the past, they ain't in the future. They're like, what is happening right now? And, you know, your mind is just like, what happened or what you need to do, and they keep you like, boom. They have you like, what's going on in the moment right now. That's what I really like about it. But and one thing I do think about is like, I don't wanna give them my leftovers. I think about that. It's like go work, give clients and work, give them everything, and then come home and then ain't got time to spend time with my wife and my kids. Just give them the leftovers. It's like, I'm not doing that.
I mean, sometimes leftover spaghetti is good. I'm just saying leftover spaghetti is good, but I feel you though. Hot prepared meal, fresh off the stove. That is the best.
Fresh off the grill.
Fresh off the grill, some barbecue.
That's the
straight
best
off
it's
the
gonna
grill.
be, coming right off.
That's the best. Yeah, you got that one.
No, I agree. I was going to say, I like culture. I like hustle culture for the most part. I don't like the extreme version of hustle culture. I think for me, when I found out the true luxuries of life, then I appreciated hustle culture a lot more. And what I mean by that is like a couple of years ago, I was in the toxic hustle culture. 2 jobs, running a business, trying to get rich overnight, hitting the gym, trying to make sure everything, you know, waking up 3 a.m. in the morning. By the way, I wake up at like 4 a.m. now, but for a purpose,
Kudos
of
to
course.
you.
Now, yeah, I remember we talked about that a little bit earlier, but that was like a toxic version of, I think, a good thing in my mind that I was trying to do. The shift happened when I was like, okay, I'm so focused on money right now, but like, what are the true luxuries? It's being healthy. It's spending time with family. It's sometimes slow mornings is true like wealth and luxury, like being able to wake up and you take your morning slow. It's like, yeah, this is it. And then when I found that out, that's when I started structuring my day around like the true luxuries. Then I could like apply hustle culture to that. Now I could wake up in the morning. I like slow mornings. I like going for runs in the morning. It like starts my day off good. It's slow, nobody's awake, nobody's talking to me. Just go do my thing. And then I can, you know, appreciate a good meal, healthy meal. I'm not running around getting some fast food because I know it's bad for me. I can go maybe cook something at home. What I like about it is like now I can like go hard in those aspects in a healthy way, and my hair not falling out, and I'm not, you know, stressing out and losing weight or gaining weight. Some people, you know, react different to stress, but yeah, that's what I like about it. I think like to the extreme, no, and like especially it was like portrayed on social media, like some of that stuff be crazy, but I think
Yeah, that'd be the extreme.
yeah, it's like
you gotta have some hustle and some heart, you know. But
yeah, and that's a good point. I think it's important for us to like have that. In my opinion, for me, like we gotta win, like especially as men, like it feels good to like rack up those wins.
Yeah.
But I think more importantly, it's good to like have a plan and do it in a healthy way. Like me waking up, making my bed, getting a run, like I'm checking off little wins in my head. But me, you know, stressing out if I don't like get up and like I like wake up 30 minutes late, so my schedule's messed up for the day. Like putting that pressure on yourself to like have to do it because this is what the culture says I gotta do, that's where it starts getting like, all right, it's starting to get a little unhealthy now. Now you starting to, like, stress is dangerous, man. Stress.
Yeah, stress is the true killer.
Yeah, like
that's what kills you. I mean, you don't die from the gunshot. You die from the stress from the gunshot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 50 got shot 9 times. He didn't die. But yeah, that's solid. That's solid. Yeah, I appreciate the perspective on physical health too, because that's an overlooked aspect of it. Is just including physical health in your whatever you're doing, the hustle culture, the work-life balance, the grind. You got to have the physical. I mean, you can't do nothing if you don't got your body. So
I feel it's tied together.
yeah,
Like if I don't get up and working out helps with my anxiety. It helps me be able to take on more
yeah, man.
during the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if I don't, I know that I didn't. You know what I mean? So that is like the release, like running in the morning and getting that workout and working out keeps you present.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or you're going to hurt yourself.
Hey, do you work out?
Oh yeah.
Right,
Okay.
you're going to fall off the
Every day.
treadmill.
Every day?
Every day.
Thinking about something else, you know?
Yeah.
Or you lift away your mind, you're going to hurt yourself. You have to be present. And so you're not thinking about anything else except for what's happening in the moment.
Yeah, workout keeps you present too. So yeah, you were gonna say?
No, I was just saying, I work out every day, man.
Mm.
And kind of like just talking about what you guys were both just talking about. I truly believe like there's 4 aspects to health overall. There's your mental health, right? Like what's going on up here. There's your spiritual health, and not spiritual in the sense of like this, but spiritual in the sense of like, what do you feel, your emotions? That's your spirit. That's what gives you life. Imagine not having any emotions. You have no spirit at all. You just, you're an NPC, you know?
Yeah.
Put it in plain terms. Then there's your physical health, which is important. Like that's a whole nother aspect of things. Like, and when we look at our chemical, like our chemical, our hormonal releases, like physical health plays a huge proponent in that. Going to the gym actually helps to release oxytocin, which is our pleasure hormone. Like, and that's what usually is released after sex. Like, oh, I feel good. Like when you work out, you can get that same release. Most people think it's just dopamine, but dopamine is the hormone that makes you motivated to do things. It's not the hormone that makes you feel good. It motivates you to like want to get up, do, which is why you see so many people glued to screens with dopamine releases. Like it's constant dopamine release, put it down. Now we diagnose them with ADHD because they're not motivated to do anything else. And then the last component is your financial health. And I feel like financial health is kind of like it's a reflection of the first 3, because how your financial health is usually a direct proponent of what your physical, spiritual, and mental health all are.
Yeah.
All right, if I got unhealthy financial habits, I'm usually not healthy physically. I'm usually not healthy mentally. I'm usually not healthy spiritually. But I truly believe the most important out of all 4 of those is your mental health. That's the glue to all of those. Right. Because if you can crack the code to your mental health, right? That's that purpose. That's your self-worth, your self-identity. Like, who am I? Once I start to understand that, then I can really like maximize my health in each one of those other spaces. Because physical health for one person, right? Like, you like to go to the gym, you like to lift, you like to run, you like to do all of that. Physical health for me could be just going on a walk, getting active. That's still active.
Yep.
And that's still like, that's that intention and direction, right? I'm intentionally going on this walk because I care about my physical. I just want to move. I might not want to be buff. I might not want to do all of that. But the gas that I'm putting in this tank is for a purpose.
That's good. Yeah, the financial one, that I know that personally. Not going to go into all of that, but I will say there have been seasons of my life where I could see that. where it's like you think that the solution is to go out and get more money and that will fix your finances. Typically, that's not the answer. It's some other area of your life that brings the balance back to the financial area. So, and we know money is just a tool, you know.
That's it.
It's really just a tool. And how do people describe it? They describe it like water. I mean, all the
anything.
and the terms that we use with money is like water terms, right? You got like liquid assets, you have cash flow, right? When we talk about money, we talk about it like it's a liquid, like it's water. So it's not meant, you wouldn't hold that in your hand. I'm not gonna hold water. It's gotta flow through you. And so it's through you that finances happen. It's not through, you know, having all these different books, and it's through your habits.
Facts.
Yeah, that's what develops money and financial success. So,
It's on the head.
Yeah.
ding
On
ding.
the head.
Dating. You talked about dating at the beginning of this segment. This isn't a dating podcast.
Okay.
So let's go easy on them. But we've got some success. We've got some ups and downs at the table. Everybody's in different places in their dating career. Let's talk about it, you know, because that's mental health. It's also relationships. I think the one thing that I've learned from my few years of adulthood, we won't say my exact age, is that a lot of the things that work in personal dating also works in the professional realm. Being attentive, being empathetic, active listening, making sure that people know that they were heard, putting time, energy, and effort into it, taking time out to show that people are valued. All of these different things that we do to develop our mating relationships, those same principles, I feel, can be applied to the professional world. But before we go that deep, what's the dating landscape like from a therapist perspective right now? Has it shifted since because you said you're, you know, kind of locked down, you got your kids and everything.
Yep.
So what are you seeing as like the trends or things that have changed from the time you got married?
Social media dating, like that's what it is. It's all types of apps. It's your Tinder, it's your Bumble, it's your Crumble, whatever they got all these apps that you can date on, and you can pay for your dating services. I guess now this is what my clients are telling me about. So
Pay for dating
it just sounds like escorting. You know, that's what it sounds like, honestly. But I don't know because
I mean, like a subscription to the app, or
no. Well, you can.
or you pay the individual?
So I don't be on Snapchat, but I heard you can subscribe to people's Snapchats and they will date like that too.
Wow. Virtually or like in
No, they'll meet up in person. You know,
Wow.
it's different. So
I'm assuming this client is like a full like adult, like 35 years.
Yeah, they grown up. They grown up.
Because that'd be crazy in high school if people are like subscribing to apps and stuff and dating, like paying to date in high school.
But you got to think
Trying to
about
skip
it.
all the
You got to think
skip
about
all
it.
the steps.
If adults are doing it, like,
yeah.
who is the true market?
Right.
Who is the true market? I mean,
I was about to say it's already
you look at anything that is marketed. The true market is not the adult. The adults are like, I'm already stuck in my habit. I might do this. I already know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
But the true market really
Right.
is the younger generation.
Yeah, they are the early adopters.
True that.
Exactly. But I think it's just completely different from when I was in the dating realm. And I can't even hold y'all with that. When I was in the dating realm, I did not have the healthiest dating habits. I did not have the healthiest dating habits. But I'm happy now that I was able to find the one that I want to spend the rest of my life with.
Word.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been back on the dating scene recently. I would definitely say it's different than when I was in a committed relationship. We'll just call it that. Yeah, it is definitely different, and I do think that modern dating is littered with unrealistic expectations. The person, I would say, when I look at myself in the mirror, the person that I am today is an order of magnitude more attractive than I was when I was in my early 20s. But the market doesn't always reflect that. You know, the dating market doesn't always reflect what we see in the mirror. And I think, it's just like a lot of unrealistic expectations in the dating marketplace. I think people are not satisfied with the people around them, which is surprising. Like back in the day, the people around you, that's who you date. But now we always have this person out there that we know we could get, you know, which is a head scratcher. It's like, but the person out there is the person around you, right? I mean, how many of those are there? There's probably
What if
maybe 100 people that we be compatible with that are around us, and we're always thinking about that 100 in first person. That's what I've observed.
Yeah. What? I was going to talk about something else.
I was gonna say, I think you hit one of the key terms that a lot of people don't pay attention to when it comes to dating, and that's compatibility. Like, we're not worried about compatibility. What we're worried about is chemistry. And you can have chemistry with virtually anybody, because chemistry is only surface level. Like that's very right here. Can we have fun? Like, how many likes do you get on social media? Are we in the same social stratus? Like, and that's another big thing when we're looking at this dating realm, like social stratus. Like, do you get a lot of likes on your pictures? Are you somebody that everybody is?
Think about that as a
That's the
like,
biggest
you
thing.
ain't got enough likes.
Let's make
followers.
selection based
That's
on
how it
likes.
is.
Literally, if you don't got likes, don't DM me. Don't comment on my picture either.
Wow.
Under 1,000 followers? Nope.
No,
Not it.
Okay.
This is really what people are basing this stuff off of now.
Nuts.
And so it's just this initial surface
deeper.
level chemistry. When if we pay attention to compatibility and you really start to understand compatibility, it all goes back to what I've been saying. Compatibility really is an understanding of self. What do I want for my life? And whatever I want for my life, I'm going to look for somebody else who I can come in with, who has not the exact same, because nobody's going to be the exact same, but similar values, similar belief standpoints, and some of them might be different. And am I okay with those? Yep, I'm okay with that. We can still come together and meet on these things and really start to try to do this thing that we call dating, and then what we call life together.
Yeah. And when I think, even though it's like technically I'm not like in the, you know, dating world, I'm married, but I feel like you still, parts of like what dating is, you still have to kind of have that mindset in a marriage still.
That's good.
You got to continually date your wife, person
100%.
that you're with.
Yeah.
100%.
You can't get complacent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Keep up with the trends.
You just have to put in effort. You still need to impress her. You know, not to the extent like superficially impress, but you got to show her that you're interested. You still want her. You know that that you still love her. You still got to show that. You still got to put in that effort. So it's like you. I know you heard it, like date your wife, having those date nights and things like that. I think that stuff is like, that's a thing that's very, very important. You know, because I would say, really important, because it's easy to get into autopilot, especially when you have kids. You can, that can be put on the back burner, so you got to be very intentional. So.
I would almost, I agree with everything that you said, but I would change one thing, and I wouldn't even call it autopilot. If we look at our relationships, and this is any relationship, but for the purpose of this conversation, we're talking about dating and intimate relationships. If we look at that as a garden,
Yep.
When I'm first starting, I'm watering that thing, I'm picking the weeds, I'm
Yep.
smelling the flowers. I'm
Yep.
like, oh, this is nice. But most of the time, as time goes on, then I'm like, the next day come, I don't feel like doing none of that today. I'm gonna come get the weeds the
Yep.
next day. I'll go 2 days without watering. If we do that, what's gonna happen to this garden that we got right here?
Right.
It's gonna die.
Yep.
When we look at relationships like a garden, and you constantly have to tend to it, you have to water it, you have to appreciate it, then that's when a relationship can truly like flourish and thrive. But if we're not looking at relationships in that way, they're gonna die. And also on that flip note, when it go back to chemistry and compatibility, like if we understand who we are and we're looking for compatible partners, not every garden is gonna be for us. Like
That's true. Because
uh-uh.
there's some
Everybody's
plants I got
garden is
allergies.
different.
I got allergies to
That's what
some
I'm
plants,
saying.
man.
That's
I
what I'm
can't be
saying.
in everybody's
It's
garden.
all different.
That's real. Like, yeah, you look good. This looks good. This look real good. You know, it look real good.
Right.
But I don't think we really gonna work. This might just be fun. And so I'm gonna just leave it at fun and call it done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think people have to start having that understanding, because I truly believe it's okay to like have fun with dating. Like not every time that you date somebody, it has to be
Right.
in the hopes of having a committed relationship. I think that's just the place that we in now. Like maybe 40 years ago, they're like, nah,
Right.
you harlot, like, you know, you Jezebel,
Right.
And I mean, it is what it is, but now we're not there. And so like, if you're gonna date, just a couple things: be safe,
Right.
understand the difference between like your chemistry and your compatibility, and don't base trying to grow this relationship just on the chemistry that you got in the beginning, because that chemistry can
Right.
burn out. It can burn out, and now what's gonna carry that thing along?
Dang. Dating for social media followers and number of likes is crazy. That's the first time I've heard
Me
that.
too. That's wild.
I can't, like, I know just from saying that there's been at least one individual that disqualified me for that. Because I had low likes that week. I had low likes when I reached out, and they didn't respond to my DM. I was so sad. Then I got another date, so it was cool.
Facts.
But yeah, that's a different landscape. What is it like? I mean, you're in the 20s dating. You know, you got the muscles going, so you got some stuff working for you. So, what's it like?
Man, I've been okay. I call myself like an outlier. Like I like being locked down. I've been locked down for like the last 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So you've been solid.
Yeah.
I'm like that too, by the way. So that was respect.
Runs in the family, probably. Yeah. That's funny. But you made a good point about having to like continue to like attend to your relationship, and that's one thing I've like learned from those last 5 years is like you gotta like love your person, like consistently do it. Like y'all are changing consistently, like. And I didn't notice, by the way, I'm not gonna say nothing crazy. She sent me a TikTok and I told her I was on a podcast about relationships and mental health. Not gonna be that, not gonna be no crazy stuff. But I will say is like, that's very important. And I didn't notice we did it, but like every like 6 months would be like kind of like a check-in, like, you know, what do you think about this? Like, what do you value? You know, things like that to continue to stay on the same page. I think that's important. Like the garden analogy you had is like a good, like a good visualization I had when I thought about that. So just continuing to, you know, check in and update and make sure you guys are on the same page, because like I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago.
Right.
Nobody is. So that's good. And then as far as like, and then being young too, like I feel like with a lot of guys my age is like getting attraction from other women while you also in a relationship. And that's like, just like understanding how to be like disciplined and having, I think it's a part of like being emotionally resilient too. Like is out there and like me, I've never been that kind of person to like like be like driven by those kind of things, but I think it is important to stay level-headed and again, it comes down to like just understanding like what's like your true wills in your life, and like for me, it's like to have my person, and we solid like quality over quantity, pretty much. Like it ain't never been like my desire to have multiple women and things like that. But yeah, love your person over and over again. Just change. You're bound to change. I mean, that's just how it is. And especially like with me being so young, like 5 years ago, I was 16, 17. It's like,
Wow.
I was definitely not the same person that I am
Yeah,
right
no
now.
doubt.
Yeah, and that's a good point. It's like you both should be changing and growing, not who
Changing
you are as a
together.
core, but changing together and recognizing, that change.
Appreciating that change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's key, because a lot of times folks recognize the change, but like the old you. And it's like, wait a second, but I did these changes to be better, so why don't you like the improvements? That can happen. Not saying it always does happen, but that can happen if we're not careful.
Yeah, and
So
that's
that's good.
the end of that relationship. You know what I mean? It just,
If you can't
and that's the
adjust.
thing, relationships have timelines on them too.
That's
Yeah,
a
That
part of
doesn't mean
change,
I have relationships that I had with, family or different people, and it's like, that's not me anymore. That relationship did what it did at that moment in time, during that time, and that's it. You gotta learn to let some stuff go too. Some relationships go that don't work.
Yeah, I think that's just a part of change. That's
Yeah.
like friendships too.
Yeah,
Like,
friendships.
for real. And then one thing that did come to mind as well was because I think there's a lot of we were talking about it before the podcast started, like these expectations we have for like woman. I need my woman to be this. I need my man to be this and this.
Yeah.
And I think one good practice that I thought about that I've started to apply in my relationship, because I can't really speak on like dating culture. I think to an extent, because like I'm in a relationship, so I'll just speak on what like I know. But setting like boundaries, like not doing husband things for your girlfriend. It's like, I think that is so overlooked. Like even like little stuff, like I see a lot of people talk about like, oh, laundry. Like I think that's like a wife thing to do, right? It's like it might seem silly, but like that's like a lot of the conversation are like handling bills as like a husband. I think like that's a very husband thing to be doing as a boyfriend. So like having those boundaries to where it's like, we're gonna wait till we get married to do this. And then what I found in that is like, that's created, one, that takes two people to agree on, but that long term, I think that creates, for me at least, has been creating a healthy relationship. Like, and it's not like, oh, I'm not gonna do this, I'm not gonna do that, but like you gotta be able to communicate.
On a
like,
healthy boundary.
Yeah, so I think that's like a point I wanted to bring up too. It's like having them boundaries. If we have more boundaries, I don't think we would hear a lot of these conversations that go on. Like, it would still be there. It wouldn't disappear, but it would be like, set them boundaries for that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's definitely a part of modern dating for sure, because I've seen and heard of situations where I'm a guy, I can only speak from a guy's perspective, but where sometimes the women do expect the courtship to be at a certain level that, you start to think like, that's something I would do for my girlfriend, not for somebody on a first or second date. That's something I would do for somebody who I'm married to. And guys sometimes do those things to try to win them, but it's usually, malicious intent or some type of hustle to try to get resources out of a guy. So watch out, fellas, watch out. That kind of wraps up the segment and the show today. Relationships, We covered a lot. Appreciate you, Payton, coming on and sharing just a little bit. Remember, if you want to book a session with Bear
Company Counseling.
Hit up Payton. We've got a link in the description below. Any closing remarks today?
Solid.
Yeah, great conversation. I definitely resonated and related to a lot what we talked about. The whole community I'm building is literally based off like the pillars of wellness: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial. I added a few more in there. I have 8. So that's like really dope to hear that too. You bring that up. Yeah, it's a dope conversation.
Yeah. I feel like we need to like get some exchange going on here.
Yeah,
Some
definitely.
overlap. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode of the Content Parlor. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.